It's college football season, which means you need the unbeatable coverage of Sling starting at $35 a month. Sling has all the big games on all the biggest channels like ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN3, SEC Network, ACC Network, Fox, Big Ten Network, Pac-12 Network, and the Longhorn Network, all for the best price. You can stream on any device, record up to 50 hours with your included DVR space, and pause or change your service at any time. Check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the live TV you love at a price you'll love. Try it today. Welcome to the Andy Staples Show, presented by Sling. I am here with Ari Wasserman. We are picking games. It is going to be a lot of fun today because this week too, Ari, it doesn't look as sexy on the surface, but some of these games are very interesting. And I will say, if you're in our Run Your Pool contest, you notice a ton of weird, huge lines in some of these payday games, like 50-plus point lines. So that one is going to get really weird this week.
Two comments. One, you said on an earlier show this week that you thought that this was a dry slate of games. And like you just said, I've also changed my mind. I think the games are going to be awesome this week.
Yeah.
And second thought was, if you watch the NFL game, like most people are either watching this live have or listening tomorrow did, there's no comparison to the product of the two. You know, like I love watching the NFL. I love football. But like the college games were just so much more entertaining. Like I just think that the college games are better.
Sterile environment at SoFi Stadium. Obviously, the teams that we're playing are playing at a super high level, and the Bills look wow. Like Josh Allen picking up exactly where he left off in the playoff game against the Chiefs.
Do you guys want to start the college football pick'em podcast with an NFL hot take?
I go for it because we all watch the game. It's the first NFL game of the season.
Okay. I don't know anything about the NFL other than watching it and consuming it like you all do. But if I were starting an NFL franchise and I had 5 years, I think I would take Josh Allen over Pat Mahomes to build around.
I don't think that's that hot of a take. I think the fact that Allen has gotten better and better with each year, and he did the thing that nobody thought anybody was able to do. Like I remember when he was coming out of Wyoming, we were like, he's just not that accurate, and guys don't get more accurate in the NFL. But he did.
Yeah,
like he got more accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bills were the favorite to win the Super Bowl, so it's not that crazy. But I actually think they're going to. Yeah. They've got a nasty defense. Von Miller's back there. The secondary is insanely good. Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen are on the same page. They've got a good stable of running backs. I mean, this is the year, and I don't think that anybody deserves it more than Bills Mafia. So, and Bills Mafia gets all the respect in the world for me because it's the closest NFL fan base that it is to a college fan base. So
it is very similar to a college fan. Which college fan base does Bills Mafia remind you most of? I'm gonna go to West Virginia, just in the destroying furniture department.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, which one college fan base is most known for creating fires in the tailgate?
That would be West Virginia.
So
although it's more of a celebratory fire than a tailgate fire.
Yeah, I don't know. Bill, what about like body slamming face first onto a beer pong table? Yeah.
Nobody breaks nobody's known for breaking tables. Perhaps there needs to be a college football fan base that becomes known for breaking tables, but then I think you get into like a Texas A&M versus the Seahawks 12th man argument at that point.
Yeah, I don't know if Bills Mafia just tries to do crazy stuff now because Bills Mafia became a thing, but I don't know if I've seen a college fan base do as many incredibly moronic yet hilarious things in the tailgate lot. So, I guess West Virginia would be a good one, but, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, well, it just means step up your game, everybody.
Yeah.
Step up your tailgate destruction game. Please don't destroy anything anybody actually wants. Don't hurt anybody. But yeah, have fun. That's the key.
Yeah, no,
all right.
The college fan bases, I think, are more crazy online.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And the NFL fan bases think they are, but then really do not hold a candle. Like when you say something that pisses off the Ohio State fan base or the Alabama fan base or the Texas A&M fan base or, God forbid, the Tennessee fan base,
Yeah,
Like
I was gonna say
your life is a different world.
Tennessee fans go pretty hard on the tailgate lot too, don't they?
Yeah. If they're tremendous. Well, they sailgate too. They have the Vol Navy. But
and there was a boat fire.
There was that boat fire. That's right. But if you piss off Bills Mafia or Chiefs Kingdom, yeah, they get kind of mad, but it's not the same thing. It's not Vol Twitter. I will put Vol Twitter up against anybody.
Yeah, but the most violent fan base in person is the Philadelphia Eagles fan base, right?
Correct.
And then the most eccentric in the tailgate lot might be the Buffalo Bills. But the craziest fan base overall in both, if you're like adding up points in all the realms, I think Tennessee is probably it, right?
The drunkest is LSU.
The drunkest is LSU, yeah.
LSU is the one most likely to have more people on campus tailgating than there are physically in the stadium during the game.
Is Texas A&M the most tightly knit?
Texas A&M or Clemson? I would argue that Clemson, for a big game, you get almost the entire fan base there in person.
Yeah.
Like A&M is such a huge school with a big alumni base. They can't all come. But A&M is probably the most tight knit. They definitely have the most kind of cultural touchstones. They got the Aggie ring and Miss Reveille and all of their little language with the yell leaders.
And the way that they just treat each other.
Right.
I mean, like I've witnessed it. I had no idea until I moved here to Dallas what it was like. And then I saw A&M people react because my wife went to A&M. She's the least A&M person on the face of the earth, but going to A&M puts you around a lot of other A&M people.
I got to say, if I met your wife and you said she graduated from a school in Texas, I would be SMU all the way. There would be nothing. There would be no number two choice. It would be like she went to SMU.
Well, the story of her, you could actually write a college football story about her, but like a recruiting story. But she initially got into UT, which is probably the one that I would pick if I had to guess. And she grew up in Las Vegas, and she was going to go to UT, and then something happened where, scholarship money or something got messed up, and she just blindly got accepted to A&M. And her plan was to go to A&M, transfer to UT to make it cheaper. And then she got to A&M, made a lot of sense, and then decided not to leave. But Las Vegas, born and raised, sight unseen, committing to Texas A&M football, and then showing up, or Texas A&M University, and showing up not having any idea what she was in for. Have we
consulted Sliced Bread on this story? Do we know how much NIL money got offered?
Yeah, and I think she had some pretty good scholarship money because she was a good student in high school. But her high school experience was very different from her college experience. And high schoolers in Vegas go wild. So her prom was in the MGM Grand. So she's had like an interesting upbringing. But yeah, if you ever looked at her, you would never think in a million years.
Oh yeah, I would be. If you just told me a school in Texas, it would be SMU all the way. There would be no question about that. Ari, we have to talk about what to watch for presented by Sling. I think we know what that is. It's coming on Fox. It's Alabama, Texas. It's big noon Saturday. Game day will be there. Fox's pregame show will be there. Probably everybody else with a pregame. How come do we need to start our own pregame show? I feel like everybody else got a pregame. Barstool's got a pregame show.
Yeah, we got to get together. I just think you just need to move to Dallas, or I need to move to Gainesville just so we can be in person more. But I think that would be. Is that one too many podcasts for our listeners, or what? Like we just get together at 10 a.m. and go an hour before the games to preview it live. I feel like
that would be a chance for us to meet everybody and for them to come out, and we could give away T-shirts. We could give away. I've been told we need to make stickers. Like we really need to make show stickers.
Just says ass.
So people, they just say ass that people can put on their laptops. And so we need those. We need T-shirts, and this would give us a chance to get around the country and see all the folks that listen to us, because
that'd be great.
It does my heart good to know you sickos are out there.
Yeah, well, it's
and watching along with us.
It has to get to a point where people will be asking, where do you think ass is going this week? on
Exactly.
Monday.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I got some good news for you here. I don't know if it's good news or bad news.
Okay.
But I've been marinating on this Texas game.
Oh boy.
And
All right.
I don't know if I'm gonna. The line has been. I don't know, man. That's all I got to say is I don't know.
At BetMGM, as we are recording this very late Thursday night, Alabama is a 20.5 point favorite. 20.5 is a lot of points. It is a cubic crap ton of points.
It is a lot of points for a game with a team as talented physically as Texas, but it could be 63-10. Okay, so let's not dismiss
could be
that.
A Georgia-Oregon situation, but you are not wrong in that Texas has some players, especially at the skill positions, who would play at Alabama, who would start for Alabama.
The question is, will Texas score?
Texas will score.
I'm not saying one touchdown. Do you think they can score a lot?
Consistently? No, I don't.
You don't?
No, I think the problem is this is a bit of an unusual Alabama team, just as last year's was, where Nick Saban has not normally been a sack guy. He's a disrupt the quarterback guy, but not really. He can take it or leave it if you get him on the ground. These guys get him on the ground. And so when they're not getting him on the ground, they force the quarterback to make some throws they don't really want to make. And when you got a person making their second start, those could be some bad throws.
So do you envision so you're going to pick Alabama because you're contractually obligated to?
Yeah,
right?
I don't really have a choice in this.
So
this matter.
There are good things and bad things. One is I think Texas has a few true freshmen starting on their offensive line, and their quarterback is a redshirt freshman who, we all know Quinn Ewers' situation. But if you look at college football around the country, how many other colleges have a 1-2 punch at running back and receiver that Texas has?
Like Bijan Robinson and Xavier Worthy?
I think maybe
few.
Ohio State with Jackson Smith-Njigba and Trey Henderson.
Yeah.
But,
Alabama with Jahmyr Gibbs and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs and Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah. So, I don't know. There is a little bit of clinging hope. And Justin in the chat here who's watching says 35-17 Texas covers. I could see a game like that.
I could see it too because Nick Saban does not tend to run up the score. It's not his thing. You back to 2011 when Houston Nutt was in the death throes at Ole Miss. Nick Saban is going, I believe Jim McElwain was the offensive coordinator at Alabama at the time. Nick Saban is going over there yelling, "Why are we still scoring?" And it was because the third teamers were just handing off and running through Ole Miss's defense.
And it could be 35-10 in the fourth quarter, and that Texas could score a slop touchdown at the end.
Right. Or Alabama could take a big lead, put subs in the fourth quarter, and Texas scores 2 quick touchdowns, and all of a sudden, bada boom, it's covered.
Do you think this is going to be a suck your soul out of your chest kind of game? Or do you think that Texas is going to leave? But do you think that Texas is going to just forget the spread for a second, because a 20-point spread can look a variety of ways. Do you think that Texas is going to leave the field feeling like they accomplished something? Or do you think it's just going to be like a complete and utter dismantling from top to bottom?
I don't think Alabama's going to let them feel like they accomplished anything. I don't think this is going to be like 2019 LSU. 2019 LSU didn't know what it was yet. And Texas, that was their biggest game. They put everything into it. They played probably the toughest game that LSU played all year. Well, Auburn might have been up there.
So it's like a Georgia Oregon looking game.
I think it might be.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we all talk about Quinn Ewers and how exciting it is to watch him, and I can't wait to watch it. There's no question. But like, can Texas's offensive line do anything in order to slow down that defensive
That's the
rush?
part I'm worried about. As good as Bijan Robinson is, and he, even if the line has a terrible day, there will be some moments where Bijan Robinson by himself creates some yards because he's that good. But the problem is we've seen Alabama against these kinds of backs before. Do you remember when Leonard Fournette, we had essentially handed him the Heisman halfway through that's his junior season, and or maybe it was a sophomore year, he goes to Alabama and just gets shut down. That was 2015 because Derrick Henry then becomes the leader in the clubhouse. And Leonard Fournette could not be stopped by anybody that year.
Yeah.
Alabama made him look silly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to talk myself into a world where I wake up on Saturday morning feeling like I've got a shot here.
You have a shot what's the at path, a cover. Then? You what does absolutely it look like? Have a shot at a cover.
What does the path look like to Texas playing a competitive football game?
Bryce Young make mistakes.
What about Alabama a realistic path?
Fumbles, interceptions. That's realistic because Alabama is going to score on them, and Alabama is going to cause havoc with their offense.
What if Quinn Ewers just throws a 75-yard touchdown pass to Worthy on the opening drive?
I believe that's what happened, not with Quinn Ewers, but with Casey Thompson in the Oklahoma game. Who won that game last year?
That's when I officially was out on Texas.
Yeah.
So I know they kicked the crap out of him in the first quarter, didn't they?
They did. And actually the second half of first half of the second quarter too.
Yeah.
Really until Caleb Williams came in.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just going to hold out hope that it'd be good for the sport just to enjoy a close game. I don't know if it'll be a close game, but I hope it's not 63-10.
All right. We have to pause for a second, but I want you're going to pick where we're going next.
Okay.
Are we going to the one where I'm always wrong?
I'm already, yeah. I mean, there's no question which one.
Or are we going, what? Or are we going to the one that has fascinated us all week and the over-under is probably more important than the spread?
We're going to go to the one that you can't pick right.
All right, we'll do that. We're talking Tennessee, Pittsburgh when we come back. It's college football season, which means you need Sling TV, where you can watch unbeatable college football coverage starting at just $35 a month. Get everything you love about college football, rivalries, marching bands, bowl games, conference power rankings, all of it comes with Sling. Plus, Sling has all the big games on the biggest channels: ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN3, SEC Network, ACC Network, Fox, Big Ten Network, Pac-12 Network, Longhorn Network. That's right, I watched Quinn Ewers' debut on Sling. The best part is getting Sling is easy. It's easy to set up and even easier to use. You can stream on any device and record up to 50 hours with your included DVR space. Plus, you won't get locked into a long-term contract. So if you're looking for the perfect place to spend your Saturdays, you need to take a look at Sling, where you can get everything you love about college football for the best price. Check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the live TV you love for a price you'll love. Try it today. You might have heard a few weeks ago when I was complaining that my wife pretty much immediately stole my soft, perfect Rhoback hoodie that I got when Rhoback decided to come on to be a sponsor. Well, I got another one, and it is the most amazing hoodie. And I have to keep it hidden so nobody else in my family steals it. But it is as great as I remember. And, oh, by the way, you probably should order two if you're going to order one, because somebody's going to take it. Probably the same with any of Rhoback's stuff. The performance polos, hands down the best out there. They sent me one called the Florida Man. It's in orange and blue. It's got little states of Florida all over it. There's an Alabama version that's in crimson with some Alabamas on it. There's a Georgia version that's red and black with some Georgia state outlines on it. Yeah, I think Rhoback knows who they're talking to. They know their audience. By the way, they're also leading the NIL charge. They got Will Anderson, Bijan Robinson, and Michael Meyer helping them out this year, and getting a little scroll in the process. Rhoback also has just started making their everyday shorts. I've got a couple pairs of these. You will want to wear them every day. They're very aptly named. So use the code Andy on Rhoback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers through the end of the week. That's spelled RHOBACK.com. 20% off all polos, hoodies, Q-zips, shorts, you name it. Just use the code Andy. Rhoback.com. Use the code Andy. And we are back. And we talk now about our double or nothing game. I guess we should have mentioned the bet we have on Tennessee, Alabama. We've talked about it so much, I assume everybody knows about it already. If Alabama covers
Texas, Alabama.
Oh, did I say Tennessee, Alabama?
Yeah, it's okay. I know where your heart's at.
That's in October. Yes, Texas, Alabama. If Alabama covers, Ari has to drink a whole bottle of Bijan Mustardson, which is Bijan Robinson's Dijon mustard. If
I've got to drink it,
or you have to consume it.
Yeah,
you could put it on something if you want, but the whole bottle must be exhausted by the end of the show that we do it on. If Texas covers, then I have to do it. But we've also added a double or nothing component to this, or maybe double or both. I'm not sure how this works. Tennessee is a 6-point favorite going to Pittsburgh. Ari says I have to take Pittsburgh because I made him take Texas. And I'm okay with that.
I've got to take my vice. You take your vice.
But I probably would have taken Tennessee given my druthers. And so I feel like now I'm going to win because I'm not taking what I was going to take in a Pittsburgh game.
Yes. Yeah. Also, you can't be on Pittsburgh 2 weeks in a row and hit both, right? Because then the spell is completely off.
Well, I took West Virginia last week. I actually got it right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. No matter what happens, you don't get
West
to
Virginia
claim
covered last week. So,
yeah. So you think Tennessee's just going to score a bunch of points?
I do think Tennessee's going to score a bunch of points, but I also think Pittsburgh's going to score a bunch of points. I think Tennessee's going to give up a bunch. This is where Pittsburgh's pass rush becomes very interesting. If they can get to Hendon Hooker, maybe make him throw a pick or two, then all of a sudden it's a very different game. But, we saw JT Daniels look pretty good against them, but he didn't look as good as Kedon Slovis looked against West Virginia.
Yeah. You know what I think is kind of interesting about this week, and I'm sure we'll talk about Florida, Kentucky later in the show too. There's a lot of really interesting players that have a chance to kind of emerge as stars of the sport. And I think that, the idea that Hendon Hooker's in this situation right now, he's one of those guys, right? Anthony Richardson's another one of those guys, and they're playing in pretty entertaining games during the non-conference that everybody's going to be watching. It's a really good opportunity for him. And then I saw you fall in love with him with my own eyes last year.
Oh, with Hendon Hooker? Absolutely. Yeah, during that Ole Miss game.
Does the rest of the country kind of fall in line with that?
I think this may be the most entertaining game of the day. I wonder if it's going to be like the Music City Bowl, which not everybody watched that game, but in terms of entertainment, that was Purdue beating Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. Aiden O'Connell throwing, basically him and Hendon Hooker just throwing haymakers at one another. It was awesome. I could see this being a game like that.
Yeah, and you got the total in the mid-60s, so that means that you're looking for a 30-30 game here.
Yep.
And anytime that happens, the odds of things going off the rails at the end are always higher. So, I think I would take Pitt here, just because I'm not sure that I'm very confident in either defense. And 6.5 or 7 is a nice little buffer. And I think that there's a chance that, JT Daniels could, be in a pretty good position. So, that's – did I say JT Daniels?
You did. You meant Kedon Slovis.
Kedon Slovis, yeah.
It's very confusing that two former USC quarterbacks are on both sides of the backyard brawl.
And they played each other last week, so, you got to give me some slack. But,
you need to excuse us here.
But I was really high on Kedon Slovis when he was at USC. So, to me, to be in a position where they're replacing Kenny Pickett with a guy who I think, forgetting how to throw Kedon Slovis, if he can get that back.
He's remembered.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can get that back consistently and you're giving me 7 in a game with a total of 64, I think I like that.
He looked awesome last week.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
Smooth. Yeah, I was really impressed with Slovis. So I am probably most excited if you just ask what do I want to watch? This one's the one I want to watch.
This is the one that is number 1 on your watch list this week?
Well, there's a few. I'm going to one in person that I want to watch. We can talk about that right now.
Is there there's only 3 games that are in the category of must watch this week, right?
So Bobby McKay kicked us off with the comment, and it's a good question because it kind of ties back into what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. he said, can Anthony Richardson at Florida be another Josh Allen? Which that's actually a pretty good comparison. They're similar in size.
Big bodied who can run.
Yep. Similar in speed, similar in arm strength.
Where's Anthony Richardson on the accuracy scale? He's
probably more accurate than Josh Allen was at Wyoming, but is in an offense that has got a little more around him than what Josh Allen. Like, if you want to watch a chamber of horrors, watch Josh Allen against Iowa his last year at Wyoming.
Yeah.
It was depressing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I remember watching that game, actually. Yeah. His accuracy issues are gone, but
he was accurate throwing to the Hawkeyes in that game. but remember, he didn't have the kind of players around him. And the other thing about Josh Allen, I did a big feature on him for SI when he was at Wyoming between his next to last year and his last year. And the thing that my theory on why Josh Allen developed as late as he did and developed later than other people did is he didn't physically develop until later in life. He was a skinny, fairly slow high school quarterback. As a high school junior, he was still very thin. I want to say he weighed like 170. He is a 6'5", 240-pound monster.
Who's very fast.
Very fast. Josh Allen would be a very good NFL tight end.
He picks up 60 yards rushing in an NFL game. You don't even realize it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's an incredible athlete. Like, I think he came out the same year as Lamar Jackson. And my thing was, if you're going to talk about Lamar Jackson playing another position, you may as well talk about Josh Allen playing another position too, because they were the only two quarterbacks physically capable of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a pretty good comparison, I think.
Yeah. I like the – now, there's another guy in this game who's also giant and fast and has a very big arm, and his name is Will Levis.
Yeah. So, you get to go see these guys in person. I'm jealous.
Yeah, I will see them at the Swamp on Saturday night. I'm very excited about that. Kentucky is getting 6 points. I am on Kentucky on this one, and I'll tell you why, Ari. Because Florida had the element of surprise against Utah. Utah didn't have any film of these players running these plays. And our coaching crush, Mark Stoops, does have that.
And also, too, it's college football players.
Right. Florida hasn't won a game like that in a while. Now, they won some big games in the Dan Mullen era, but they also never proved that they were capable of handling winning like that.
Yeah. So it's like, how do you look at wins like that? Do you look at it as they can't get up again because they left it all on the field until the very last play? Or do you look,
I don't think that's a problem.
Or do you look at the next week and you think, well, they're coming down from the high,
The down from the high thing is one. Also, you have to just be that mentally sharp because the team they're playing is very good. Just like the team they were playing last week was very good.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think that Kentucky's sneaking up on anybody either, but you got to –
exactly.
They have snuck up on people in the past, and now I think a lot of people just, respect what they've built there. But I want to go on record and say that my bet is in for Anthony Richardson to win the Heisman this year at 20-1.
That's a good. I think that's good value.
I just thought the value was too good.
If Florida somehow wins 9 games, it will be because Anthony Richardson was awesome, which will then qualify him for contention for the Heisman Trophy.
What does he have to do?
In New York, if nothing else?
What does he have to do to win the trophy?
They need to win 9 games.
Could he still win it with 9 games and Alabama going to the national title or going to the playoff?
Depends on his numbers compared to Bryce. I mean, the thing about Anthony is he could have 1,000 rushing yards too.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a pretty big game for him in his pursuit to stardom, but I don't know if that is,
this also could be a change in how we look at this because there is the possibility. And like I said, I'm taking Kentucky in this one. I think Kentucky can cover even if they don't win. I think they can cover, but I think they can probably win outright. We may come out of this seeing Anthony Richardson do another, 2 or 3 things that make us go, oh my God. And then we just go, well, okay, we're not betting against him again.
Yeah. I mean, Oni Kuno just said in the chat that I'm falling for the September Heisman hype. I'm the one who created the hype.
This ain't a Kenny Trill situation though.
And
This
also,
is not.
I just looked at him with my eyes and respected what he was as a physical specimen. And if he reaches his potential, which at 20-1, I think is pretty good value, he is an obscenely good player. So, like, this isn't just like, he plays he's the quarterback for Florida. It is the potential there is to be a great player.
It's like I had this one guy arguing with me on Twitter. Like, how can you say he's a potential first-round pick? I'm like, all I said is if he has a good season, he will be in the mix to be a first-round pick. Dane Brugler, our draft guy, has been on that for months. Mel Kiper's on that. Todd McShay's on that. Everybody who follows the draft and covers the scouting world knows that the NFL people are gaga over Anthony Richardson.
They're gaga over measurables.
Exactly, which is why they love Will Levis too.
Yes. Potential to coach somebody with God-given features, I think, is paramount. Now, you look at the slate of games here, Andy, and I said there's only 3 that could be on the most excited to watch list.
Okay.
But there's more. There's more. Okay.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go to one because there's a team we've been talking about all week. My mailbag column was almost exclusively about this team because I got so many questions about it because people are fascinated.
That's one of the games. That was one of the games.
I'm not putting the line, the Iowa State-Iowa line, which, by the way, is Iowa minus 3.5. The over-under on this game is 40.5, minus 110 either way. Ari, that means somebody's got to go 20-19.
I saw somebody tweet.
I can't imagine that happening after what we've seen.
Somebody tweeted this, and I thought it was funny, and I can't remember who it was, and I'm sorry if I'm not crediting you. Somebody said that the lock of the week is the under of this game because Iowa can't score and Iowa State can't beat Iowa.
And it's not wrong. There have been in several situations where you feel like Iowa State had the better team throughout the season, but could not beat them. And they played a shootout a few years ago that was highly entertaining, and it was like, what? How did these two teams wind up playing a shootout? But I can't imagine this being a shootout.
I also don't know if it's going to be 6-3. Like, part of me just wants to hammer Iowa because minus 3.5 makes. But if it's sense.
Not, here's the thing: it can be 18-15 and still hit under.
I don't think I think I like the over here, man.
You do? Okay. I'm going to go conventional wisdom and take the under because that offense was bad.
I mean, it's awful.
I don't think Brian Ferentz was saving the good plays.
Yeah. I mean, it's like conventional wisdom, or anybody who has eyes who watched Iowa play last week, would be like, "Are you crazy? They're not going to score a touchdown." But like Vegas takes that into account. It's not like this number is just like
they can score a couple touchdowns and still it goes under.
Yeah,
their defense is not going to allow very many.
I want a team total is 20. I mean, you know that they can score 3 touchdowns in this game.
Well, when they played South Dakota State, they scored 0.
Well, yeah, I mean. Personally,
I think like 1.8 yards a carry against South Dakota State.
Iowa's got one of the best defenses in college football and the worst offense I've ever seen with my 2 eyes.
Oh, and guess what? Guess who's good at getting after the quarterback? Iowa State.
Yeah. Who do you think's the better football team?
Good at rushing passers.
He's a first-round pick, right?
He more than likely.
Who's a better football team?
I don't know.
Why are they laying 3.5 in this game if they can't score a touchdown?
They can't. I mean, they couldn't. Like, again, maybe Brian Ferentz was sandbagging. Maybe he was saving the good plays.
So who do you like?
Iowa State.
I like Iowa. Because I'm just going opposite. Everybody's going to take Iowa State.
Completely conventional wisdom on this thing.
Literally every single person on the face of the earth is going to take Iowa State and the under.
I know they will. And I know that Iowa always wins.
And the line isn't moving.
I hope Iowa wins by 3.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if Iowa just won 3-0?
I mean, I'm not ruling that out.
Yeah. I mean,
I saw what I saw, Ari.
Who do you think will have a harder time scoring touchdowns in this game?
Well, that is a great question. Because I think the answer might be Iowa State.
I think it is Iowa State.
But they may both have an equally hard time scoring touchdowns, and it may be that the defenses score some touchdowns.
I was going to say, what do you think the prop bet for defensive touchdowns in this game is?
Over under 1.5. Right?
Over under 1.5. So one's definitely. I'd probably take the under there. I think that the number should be a half. Do you think one will happen in the game?
I do.
Yeah, I'm just fading the public on this. Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. I watched Iowa play football last week and my face melted off.
Before we take another break, I want to go to the other face melter game from last week, because this next one this team is playing is fascinating, because once again, they're on the road against a group of 5 team. It's North Carolina favored by 7.5 at Georgia State. They'll be playing at Turner Field. Well, what used to be Turner Field, what was the Atlanta Olympic Stadium in 1996. Why are they doing it? Who made this schedule?
I mean, it's a tough little group of 5 schedule there. I'm on North Carolina, though. I'm pretty high on Drake May.
Drake May is awesome. I think they snap out of it.
Downs comes back this week, I think, doesn't he?
I believe so.
I don't know.
Everybody
thought that they were going to lose to App State last week before the game, including myself, and they didn't. And it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world if Georgia State.
You know who has 2 thumbs and picked North Carolina in that game, right?
Is it you?
This guy. I was fading you.
You were fading me.
Yeah.
Also, North Carolina's best player was ruled out before the game, and you still hit it. So that was the
I also assumed he was hurt because I watched the FAMU game and saw him come down limping after scoring a touchdown, and it didn't look good.
Yeah. I mean, North Carolina should be a touchdown, 8 points better than Georgia State, right?
They should. One would hope.
And Georgia State isn't as good as App State.
No.
So, I think I'm going to join you on the North Carolina Tar Heels sideline here. And
good. Now, I don't know if the defense could still be real bad and they could still cover.
Oh, they are going to be really bad. They don't tackle anybody.
They don't tackle. They don't cover. They're not disciplined. I feel like these are things that can get fixed, but then again, the stuff with Iowa.
The over-under in this game is 64.5, so there's going to be touchdowns on both sides.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Will they give up 40 points in a quarter?
Not again. Not this time. At least I hope. When we come back, we got more games, including everybody's favorite dark horse Big 12 pick and the first Pac-12 game for a guy who's not going to be in the Pac-12 for very long. We will be right back after these words. Let's talk about Athletic Greens. If you're looking to get better gut health, more energy, or a stronger immune system in a really easy, natural way, you've got to check out Athletic Greens. I'm sure you'll all agree that most of us are not huge fans of taking a handful of pills or vitamins in the morning. But with Athletic Greens, you can get rid of all those extra vitamin bottles and finally make some room in your cabinet. Athletic Greens is an all-in-one solution that actually tastes good. You're going to enjoy getting your daily vitamins. So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into cold and flu season. It's just one scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Andy Staples. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Andy Staples to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. That's athleticgreens.com/Andy Staples. Upside is a cashback app that enables people to get more value from their purchases and improves the profitability of local businesses so communities grow stronger. They partner with over 30,000 businesses and 25,000 gas stations across 48 states, plus the District of Columbia. How does it work? You open up your app, you claim an offer for whatever you're buying, whether it's gas, food, groceries, you name it. You check in at the business and you choose which card you're using, or you can upload a receipt picture later, pay as usual, and then you get paid. The cash appears in your Upside account, and you can cash out at any time, either through a bank transfer, PayPal, or an e-gift card to Amazon, Starbucks, or dozens of other places. There's no limit to how much you can earn. It's super easy to use, and most businesses don't require you to upload receipts. You can just check in and then transfer the cash you've earned right after checking into your account. And this is real cash back. No points, loyalty rewards, ever shifting. You got to do this to get this. Nope. Yeah, users get real cash and they can cash out at any time. Upside also works with loyalty, cashback, and credit or debit card rewards programs. It's loved by businesses and users alike. Users are earning 3 times more cash back with Upside than with any other product, including loyalty programs and credit card rewards. Plus, sharing Upside with friends helps you increase your earnings. They'll get an extra 15 cents a gallon cash back the first time they use the app, and you'll get a one-time 15 cents per gallon bonus. You'll also earn a 1 cent per gallon for every gallon they buy forever. So give Upside a try. You're going to these places anyway. You're supporting local businesses. May as well get some cash back while you're doing it. Welcome back. Going through the week 2 lines, and we come to everybody's favorite Big 12 dark horse, the Kansas State Wildcats. Missouri headed to Kansas State. This is, SEC team coming to the Little Apple. I covered one of those games when Auburn went to K-State on a Thursday night a few years ago. That was a lot of fun. But Missouri is, unlike Auburn in that game, Missouri is not a favorite. Missouri is getting 7.5 points. And we will see if Adrian Martinez is as good as he was last week against South Dakota.
That's a lot of points, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's a lot.
I think Kansas State's very good.
They are. They are the Stuart Mandel's dark horse.
Well, he also has Kansas winning 3 Big 12 games, and I think Oklahoma going 7-5 and Texas going 4-8. Those Stewart's Big 12 predictions were wild. Just wild.
Well, Stewart isn't the only one who thinks that Kansas State has a shot to win that conference. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But, oh, man, 2 scores. Laying 2 scores here. Do you think that Mizzou's on the up and up like I do?
I don't know. I mean, Luther Burden looked really good.
Is he the best player on either team?
Maybe. Deuce Vaughn's pretty darn good too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Burden looked good. Felix Anudike-Uzomah for K-State,
he's very good.
The edge rusher. He's a potential first-round draft pick. So
a lot of great edge rushers in the Big 12 this year.
There are, and just good D linemen in general. We're going to see Apu Ika play against BYU for Baylor.
Yeah,
and Ika is probably the best interior defensive lineman who's been in the Big 12 in years.
Yeah,
but there's some really good edge rushers in that league, and so I think Kansas State wins this. I think that place is going to be rocking. If you've not been to a game at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, that's a place you should go. Like, if your team winds up going to play them there, go. And Manhattan is a fun town. Aggieville's cool. Varsity Donuts, Radina's Bakehouse, the Chef. There's a lot of fun places there. So I am very high on Kansas State this year. I think Missouri has a chance to get better, but I think K-State may be a more finished product right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much you can take away from the 34-0 win against South Dakota. Adrian
No,
Martinez threw for 53 yards in that game.
it's not like it was South Dakota State.
Yeah. I mean, 53 yards.
Yeah, that's not great.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Mizzou has that SEC talent, man. 52 points against Louisiana Tech. Luther Burden coming out and scoring a touchdown or two, I think. Was it? Two? In that game. I don't know if I'm ready to lay two scores in this one.
All right. Well, I am glad we are on opposite sides of all these things.
Yeah. It's a good way for you to call me a jackass on Monday when we get back together.
Or you can call me a jackass.
I mean, I just looked at the Run Your Pool standings, and you're like, you had a really good first week. That would have been a very profitable gambling week if you had those picks for real money.
Cade Klubnik fan account leading the way with, I believe, 48 correct picks against the spread. Max Olson of the Friends, the Andy Staples Show and Friends, he's the best. I think he's number 5 overall.
He is.
So
38-20 after the first week of games. Now, the hardest thing about Run Your Pool is that you have to pick every single game, basically.
Right. And there's some
that's a really hard thing to do. I mean,
like, we're not getting into some of those games that have 40 and 50 point spreads.
Because the 40 and 50 point spreads it's just a matter of how bad the coach wants to cover it, or how quickly they want to take their foot off the gas.
Exactly.
Like Ohio State's a 44.5 point favorite. It's like they could probably score 100 points if they wanted.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you predict what they're going to want to do? It just, those ones are kind of tricky. But, I do think that there are a few sneaky good games, and I want to point you to one. Well, but I'm not sure that you're going to get to on your own.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm
excited to watch it.
Go for it. What you got?
App State going to A&M.
Yes, I am very intrigued by that, especially after
good game.
After watching, okay. So Sam Houston State, who A&M played last week, very good FCS team. Threw up a donut against Texas A&M. App State scored how many points against North Carolina? 62? 61?
Yeah.
Yeah.
40 and a quarter.
Scored 40 and a quarter. We're going to have a little better idea of what Texas A&M's defense is after this. I don't know about Texas A&M's offense. I don't know that we're going to learn what we're going to learn there. But I feel like we're going to learn a little more about Texas A&M's defense in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Texas A&M's offense got off to a really slow start, and I know there was a delay in the game, and it was kind of a weird game. But I mean, is Texas A&M going to just dominate this game? And I'm kind of hoping that they win because I'm covering the Arkansas A&M game in Dallas in a few weeks.
Yeah,
and I hope they're both undefeated for that game.
So A&M is a 19.5 point favorite in that game.
Yes. And I don't know that I would lay that.
It feels big.
It does feel big. I think App State's going to score on them.
See, I'm not sure they will.
Yeah, I mean, if that defensive line overpowers them, then they won't.
Yeah, I'm also not sure how much A&M is going to score on App State. It just may be a very different game than what we saw App State play against North Carolina.
This could be like a 31-17 type game too.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Ari. I think that's going to be very interesting. Yeah, that afternoon window is loaded with that kind of intrigue.
Yeah, for sure. You got the afternoon windows: Iowa State, Iowa. You got Wisconsin, Washington State.
Oh, let's talk about that one too.
Yes,
that's also where Tennessee Pitt is. But let's talk about Washington State at Wisconsin. Washington State did not look particularly great against Idaho. It took them a while to put the Vandals away. I was like, I need to go to bed, but I'm going to stay up because this is a little too close for comfort here.
Yeah. A 7-point win for what's supposed to be one of the most exciting offenses in college football this year. Not something that you're going to, love to see. And Cam Ward went 26 for 41 with 3 touchdowns and only averaged 5.6 yards per attempt.
Yeah.
Or completion, excuse me. Opposite styles, conferences on different sides of the country. I can't wait to watch this. Seems like a lot of points here too.
Well, I don't know that Washington State's going to be as bad as they were. I always go back. Do you remember Chip Kelly's first game as Oregon's head coach?
I don't. Remind me.
It was the at Boise State on a Thursday night. LeGarrette Blount punches Byron Howard at the end of the game.
Oh, wow.
Nothing works for Oregon offensively. Chip Kelly sends a guy a refund for his trip to Boise. Sends a Duck fan a refund for his trip to Boise. And then Chip Kelly's offense proceeds to demolish everybody else they play that year.
Yeah, maybe it'll be like that. I don't know. The thing that I want to know is, does Washington State have a chance to stop Wisconsin from running the football? Because if it doesn't, then it's going to be a long day.
Yeah. But 17.5 with their offense, I feel like that there's a chance they cover it. I'm taking Washington State in this game.
I think I am too. It's a lot of points.
I don't think they're going to win. I think they're going to cover.
Especially because I think in my head, like, what would I make that spread? And it wouldn't be that high.
Yeah, it feels very high. Let's go out to the Pac-12, though. USC, fight on, baby. -8.5 at Stanford. Now,
I got USC.
We have seen Stanford just bully USC.
We have.
But I don't think Stanford is what Stanford used to be. And it's really up to them to prove me wrong on that. Like I like Tanner McKee. I think he's got a lot of tools, but they just don't seem to have because they would have such a complete offensive and defensive line. They would always have a couple D tackles that were headed to the NFL. They would always have like an NFL left tackle and then a couple of other guys that were probably going to make rosters on the offensive line. I don't know that they're that anymore.
They got Emmitt Smith's son.
They had Barry Sanders' son at one point.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Like, the thing I'm trying to figure out here is, and Rice scored a few early touchdowns against USC, and everyone's like, well, here we go. Is USC going to be the reincarnation of a Lincoln Riley Oklahoma team?
In that they score a ton of points,
but can't stop anybody. Is that the type of season that they're going to have? Because even if you think that's what it's going to be, I still think that they got Stanford by at least 10.
I think you may be right. Like I need to see, and I know Stanford beat Oregon last year, but I just need to see more from them before I'm ready to. But
also, USC losing this game would be the most USC loss ever. So
devastating.
So the thing that you have to kind of put in your head is, and I'm trying to get Antonio Morales, the USC beat writer, on my side on this one, is when do you turn the page from old USC that would have lost this game under Clay Helton to, is this the new USC?
And remember, this game was the one that ultimately got Clay Helton fired last year.
Right. Like, when can you allow yourself to expect Lincoln Riley results?
I think you should expect him immediately.
You can't just say, well, yeah, USC would have lost this game.
This feels like a different roster.
USC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This feels like a very different roster. So I don't really want to make any comparisons between last year's USC team and this year's USC team because they are vastly different.
Yeah, and I think that I'm with you on that. Like, my whole thing has always been, when a coach takes a job, the program that he takes over gets to absorb his resume. And then if the resume that they absorb turns out to be fool's gold, then you have to analyze what went wrong and why that program wasn't able to do it. So, right now, I think that, every Oklahoma fan on the face of the earth is going to be rooting hard for Stanford this week. But my anticipation is that even if Stanford muscles them around a little bit and scores some points, that they won't be able to stop the USC's offense from scoring at least 40.
Yep. It is going to be a very, very interesting game. Let's go to Provo. Baylor getting 3 at BYU. Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator at Baylor, returns to Provo, where he was the offensive coordinator for Kalani Sitake with Zach Wilson as the quarterback. Baylor Romney was dealing against USF last week. Averaged 12.2 yards an attempt for 305 with 3 touchdowns, was 20 of 25. That is super efficient.
Baylor's going to win, right?
I think.
I was surprised to see that they were dogs in this game. Were you surprised to see that they were dogs?
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong. I'm looking at the wrong box score for that that game, I was like, this seems awfully wrong here. What I was reading, because I was like, where's Gary Bohannon's name in this box score? So erase.
I do. I just think that Baylor's a very well coached team, and they're a tough team, and they've got some sneaky talent on there. I don't know why Baylor's a dog in this game, because it's in Provo.
Well, probably, and because BYU's been good. I want to see Blake Shapen as the starting quarterback, and I realize he's played a game, but it wasn't against an opponent that was going to scare them. And this is one, because that decision to start Blake Shapen was one that could get second guessed pretty quickly if things go wrong. It's interesting that BYU's already played Gary Bohannon, who was the guy that would have been the starter at Baylor.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
My Baylor Romney stats. I don't know what I was like. Baylor Romney's not there anymore. Okay, yes, Jaron Hall had a very good game against USF. 25-32, 261, 8.2 yards per attempt, but not as efficient as Baylor Romney. Puka Nacua, 2 touchdown runs, 3 carries for 76 yards. And BYU had their way with USF on the ground. They averaged 8.4 yards a carry. They will not have their way with Baylor on the ground. We mentioned Apuika earlier in the show. That's a guy who is, again, we have not seen
BYU
a guy like that in the Big 12 in a while.
Right.
What's that?
BYU has the clear advantage at quarterback, and it's a home game.
Is it a clear advantage? Did you watch Blake Shapen in the Big 12 championship game last year?
I don't know. I just came into the season thinking that Jaron Hall might be like a under the radar NFL guy.
I think that's kind of what BYU's got a lot of times these days. I mean, as you know, covering recruiting, there are a lot of good quarterbacks that come out of the state of Utah.
Yep.
And, I think especially after Zach Wilson, they established themselves a place where you can go and obviously that in the 80s and in the early 90s, they were great at that too, where that was a place where if you were a quarterback there, you could be an absolute star. And I think they've set themselves up nicely as a pipeline. But again, they're going to be playing a team that runs an offense very similar to theirs. And
I love that this is just like the type of preview of what the Big 12 is going to be.
Kind of, but I mean, Baylor's they're not built exactly on BYU. They stole BYU's offense. That's what, Dave Aranda, they had the bad first year. Larry Fedora was the offensive coordinator. He made the change. He hires Jeff Grimes. So they basically stole BYU's offense. It's still Dave Aranda's defense, but these teams feel pretty similar.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just saying, like, the fact that they're going to be in the same conference.
Who's got better athletes?
Baylor. I guess I'm here alone. I don't know what happened. Andy's computer must have died or something.
I knocked myself out of my own broadcast.
Okay, I thought your computer died, and I was like, I was sitting there, I was like, this is awkward. It's just me and 100 of my closest friends.
And I clicked the wrong X and knocked myself out of my own broadcast because
we're happy you're back. I think Baylor has better athletes.
Okay, then,
but BYU's athletes might be older and more ready, more seasoned in the NFL. I mean,
Baylor's got veteran guys now.
No, I know. I mean, I think I like Baylor's roster better.
That's what I'm thinking. I take in a clash of two fairly similar teams. I'm going to take better athletes who are getting 3 points.
Yes. Talk dirty to me.
Exactly. So I think that's the way to go with that. But again, I can't wait to see that game. I think it's going to be so much fun. And you have talked me into this. I was wrong the other day when I said this slate looked
No, there's games.
Unappetizing. It does look great.
And the games go from
down.
start to finish, too, because I cannot wait to watch Mississippi State go to Tucson.
That's
And that game
exactly
doesn't start
right.
until 11.
SEC after dark, baby.
Yeah, and that's a sneaky good game. Or the hope is.
I think Jed Fish is doing a great job. I don't know if it's a sneaky good game because I think Mississippi State could be really, really good.
No, I know. Mississippi State opened as a 7.5-point favorite and went to 10.5 in like an hour.
Yeah.
And 10.5 still seems a little bit low, too.
Because here's the thing. Memphis is not bad, and Mississippi State had its way with Memphis.
Yeah, and also, too, it's like Arizona had a very good opener. But, like, we got to think about the progression in a real-time thing. It's just like they're not going to be a 9-win team this year, Arizona. They are an improved team, no question. But like Mississippi State's athletes are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Their quarterback is really good.
Yep. Will Rogers knows that offense backward and forward. Yep.
Pretty good.
Leach is good. Zach Arnett's defense is good. Zach Arnett's defense is kind of it's a 3-3-5. It's a change up. It's kind of like when you have to play an option team.
Did you see what Leach did last week against Memphis? At the end of the game, they were running out the clock and Memphis called a timeout. And
don't do that.
This very next play, Leach threw to into the end zone for a touchdown.
Of course. Don't do that. Take your whooping.
Yeah, they were calling timeouts, and they're just like, he goes, all right, you want to play? We'll keep playing.
Bobby McKay with a question. Are you guys going live? So when will you guys go live Saturday night? So I will be at Florida, Kentucky, and I got to do interviews after that game. That is a 7 p.m. Eastern start. I would bet if I were a betting man, which it sounds like I am if you've listened to this podcast, I would say sometime around midnight Eastern time, which would give us a chance to be most of the way through Baylor, BYU, and we'd be into Mississippi State, Arizona. So there might be a little live Mississippi State, Arizona. King Allard, what are your thoughts on Iowa and Iowa State, Andy? Well, just take your little slider scroll and go left on your screen and go back about 33 minutes. And you will get all the Iowa State Cyhawk talk you want.
Yeah. It's a big Saturday. Can't wait. I think we're going to hop on live right after Alabama, Texas.
Yes. That is the plan. We can do some celebrating, some gloating, whoever gets to celebrate and or gloat. It'll be magnificent. The bottles of Bijan Mustardson are at my house. They're on my kitchen counter as we speak.
Yeah, you don't want to send them until after the game because you might want to save on the shipping.
Oh, Ari. I would say something snarky, but it's a 20.5-point line, and there's a really good chance I am chugging that mustard.
Yeah, no, I've been walking the plank for 2 weeks, and now I'm starting it's recording this on Thursday at 11:15. It's after midnight for you, and I'm starting to think I might have some life.
We got one more, Ari.
Okay.
That one of the watchers, listeners, 224 reminded me of. We need to talk South Carolina, Arkansas. Spencer Rattler headed to Reynolds Razorback Stadium. South Carolina getting 8.5. I thought Arkansas looked really good against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with them up front. Very impressed with KJ Jefferson. I'm not sure what I learned about South Carolina in the Georgia State game. I feel like we're going to know more about them after this. What's interesting to me here, Ari, is Spencer Rattler is not new to this sort of environment.
That's right.
He's done this before.
Yeah. This is a really hard game to read for me because I like what Arkansas is built up at, the way that they're built. They kind of take after their head coach, and they're a tough, gritty team, and their quarterback is super talented.
But this is like Mizzou K-State. It's 2 scores.
2 scores, right. So I don't know if the difference is that the 2 scores that are being laid here has 2 SEC teams in it, not just one, and somebody accused me in the reviews of our podcast of being a SEC homer now. Did you see that? Are you rubbing off on me?
Homer. What am I now?
Am
I a Big Ten homer?
Already become an SEC slap. How that word ends. But
Ari, how dare you say nice things about the SEC? It's not like they're actually good at football.
I know. It's crazy. I'm in love with KJ Jefferson. So
I will say you're in love with a lot of quarterbacks in the SEC.
it's called polyamorous.
I'm not going to the BYU joke. I'm not doing it.
Okay.
It was right there, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah, no, don't do it. Yeah, I don't know what side I would pick on that one. I've got to research that one a little bit more. But if South Carolina can come into this game, and I mean, they've got a pretty tough 2-week stretch because they're playing Georgia the next week. If South Carolina could win that game or play it close, I think you like the direction they're headed in. I mean, I don't know that there's a lot of people.
I think that would change. I think beating Arkansas would kind of set the course of their season in a really, really good way.
Especially on the road. Yeah. I don't know that they'll win. It's just a matter of whether or not they're going to cover. And I think that's a pretty tough call right now.
Yeah, 8.5 is a lot of points though. And that's the part I am very interested in. I had to check my run your pool picks. This is one I didn't feel strongly one way or another, and I basically flipped a coin. I am picking South Carolina in this game.
This is one of those games that you would never bet in real life.
No,
but when
because you just don't know.
So I'm a big enough man to act like to know that I don't know what I would want on this. I think the number is perfect.
Yeah, they made it a little too perfect. You don't want to touch it.
Yeah,
so
I don't want to touch it.
All right, Bobby McKay, one more question. Bobby's got some good questions tonight. What game
Bobby's
are you guys going to together? That's going to be Texas A&M and Alabama on October 8th in Tuscaloosa.
I've never been more excited for anything in my entire life.
A baptism by fire at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's going to be tremendous.
I cannot wait.
Ari, I can't wait till Saturday. This is going to be a great set of games. We've got a little appetizer with some Louisville at UCF on Friday night. Let's do this. We will talk to you after the Alabama-Texas game. One of us will be chugging mustard. Not that day, but will be sentenced to chugging mustard. And the other one will be gloating, pending the outcome of the Pitt-Tennessee game. We'll talk to you then. This show is brought to you by Sling TV, the TV you'll love at a price you'll love.